seen a video recently that touched on major artists finally selling their music directly to the consumer.
Everything that they did only helped us. I like it. Remove us. I like simplification. Streaming platforms is bullshit to the artists anyway.
Most music today is consumed on streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, etc. Tidal, for example, pays the most, cashing in at 0.013 per stream, which is a fraction of a cent. For an artist to make $1,000 off of a single song, the song will have to be streamed 76,924 times. Across all platforms, a stream must be played for at least 30 seconds for an artist to receive their respective payout. On Apple Music, you make around 0.6 of a penny, or between 0.006 and 0.007. Spotify pays artists between 0.003 and 0.005 per stream on average. These numbers are absolutely horrendous. And make it damn near impossible for the average artist to make a living off streaming alone. Now, a few years back, T-Pain actually took to Twitter to show how many streams it takes to just get to $1. These numbers also horrendous, shed a realistic view on how difficult it is to make money from streaming.
Meek Mill says, we about to go direct to consumer with this music shit. What happened? I thought everything was good with streaming. How did we get here?
When you factor in how much it costs to produce the music, the time it takes to record, the cost of your single or album artwork, the distribution fee, marketing and promotion, merch, or utility for other NFT artists, you're already in the negative. This makes me wonder how this all works out for the signed artists, because we know that most costs are expected to be recouped when the song drops. So those profits will have to be split with a lot more heads than just the artist. Now, that's not to say that there aren't signed and independent artists who have managed to work the streaming system and are able to actually make money. However, it's nowhere near the vast majority. So how do we as artists go from starving to triumphant under such dire circumstances?
We won.
This brings me to Ye,
We won.
the artist formerly known as Kanye West.
Gotcha.
Throughout all the very public attempts to stop his success and livelihood, including being dropped by Adidas, kicked out of JP Morgan Bank, I don't even know you can be kicked out of a bank, especially when you have money. The Los Angeles Times actually details all the companies and people that cut ties with him up to 2022, if you want to check that out. Ye and Ty Dolla $ign's Vultures album was recently removed from Apple Music, but they still managed to go #1 on the Billboard 200 chart after moving 148,000 equivalent album units in this first week. Now, this has to pose a threat to the music industry, because it means that if you can establish a solid fan base, a true artist can become more powerful than a machine who has for the longest time made us feel that being a part of that club was simply essential to being successful. Now, we can't forget that Ye was once part of the industry and arguably still is. So his situation is very different from an unknown artist who has never had the cosign of the music industry. Now, despite Usher performing at this year's halftime show, as well as releasing his 9th studio album, Coming Home, which Ye's ex-wife Kim publicly promoted,
What?
Yeah, can you believe that?
and Beyonce releasing 2 new singles from her upcoming country album, Ye managed to come out on top of them all, navigating through all of the setbacks and the blocking. And with all of that being said, what does that mean for us and the future of independent music and music in general? Now, in my humble opinion, it means that we need to get creative, take it back to the roots, and reconnect with human beings. Now, one thing that I noticed about this particular time period, in contrast with the past, is that there aren't many big or popular artists talking about the times that we're actually dealing with now. The dissolution of the middle class, a deteriorating economy, the massive lack of maturity and compassion in our leadership in this particular country, the fear of artificial intelligence and how it's already affecting us, the dangers of the food that we're actually eating, social media addiction, the war for our minds and hearts. Marvin Gaye made us all stop and think when he made What's Going On. Michael Jackson clued us in about the spiritual war when he told us that life was a thriller, and woke many up when he's saying that they don't care about us. Tupac started the whole Illuminati movement. It's starting to feel like you have to stick to the script
My disappointment is immeasurable.
if you want to be allowed in the mainstream. And when you put a muzzle on creativity, it's no longer creativity. It's simply control.
They can't control you.
For myself personally, I'll continue to put my music out on all streaming platforms so that my music is still accessible to everyone, but I will continue to sell my music directly from my website and push it at blmtd.com. Now, since I create art in a few different mediums, I decided to incorporate them all into my branding by creating limited edition apparel art and prints for each single that I release, so that I can curate a more direct relationship between myself and the people who support the other side of paradise, enjoy the music, the fashion, animation, and the art that I create. Now with the Yahweh collection, for example, I created this animated loop that was initially intended to be an NFT that supporters can only receive if they purchase this sublimated hoodie, which is limited to 20 editions. Not to mention that purchase also comes with a free download of the song Yahweh itself. Now this is a way for me to exist in both worlds while I continue to build my brand to a place where I won't need to rely on streaming platforms for distribution in the future. Now we might even experiment with putting some music on the streaming platforms while other songs may only be available to purchase through blmtd.com and my Bandcamp page, of course. So the point is that Mr. West has in many ways completed the new 4-minute mile when it comes to independent music success. In other words, once that first person does a thing once considered impossible, more people will figure out ways to do it as well. What? Now this is our chance to get creative and try different strategies until we find out what works best for our individual brands. I think about the rejection that Jay-Z got from labels that resulted in him and Dame starting their own label with Rockefeller. As the saying goes, if there is a will, there is most definitely a way. Before I go, I want to send a special thank you to my Patreon supporters whose support and donations make it possible for me to create videos like this. If you would like to join the community and help me fund The Other Side of Paradise, graphic novel and animated series, just click the link in the description below to join the tribe. The tiers range from as little as $3 a month and upward with more benefits for the higher the tier. If you would like to support us in another way, head over to blmtd.com and grab one of my limited edition apparel art items, which is all custom made to order by yours truly. To check out more of my music catalog, head over to treeoflyfe.bandcamp.com. The link is also provided in the description. And this week's music was actually produced by Funk the Truth. If you'd like to reach out to him for beats or production, you can reach him on IG at Ancient Brother. I also wanted to shout out Doug Lara for sending me Curtis King's video, which in turn inspired this video, so shout out to Curtis King as well. I would love to know you guys' thoughts on streaming and going direct to consumer, so let me know your thoughts and potential strategy in the comments. I don't think that the same blueprint can actually work for all of us, so just remember that your journey is your own, and until next time, peace.